Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying, or is it? Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about the genuine problems currently facing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and why I am taking a break and just like playing it significantly less. And a lot of it has to do with technically not this guy as much as it is these guys and this in particular. But we're just gonna collectively talk about it together. Alright, so I'm just going to talk about what I find to be a big issue with the current metagame. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff. First of all, let's start with the obvious stuff. The 9 Maxis that are currently in the game. There's technically not 9, but Maxi, Fualos, and Molcharmi Perulia. Perulia is not actually all that bad, but more specifically the other two, basically say that, like, hey, you can't play the game in a metagame that is entirely centered around do the combo or die. So, not very fun. Immediately, there are a bunch of games that are just non-games where neither player really gets to play the game because one person activates a Maxi and the other person doesn't. Awesome. What a fun experience for everyone. The other big thing are the insane combo extenders and enablers that currently exist. Obviously, Fiendsmith is one of them, but I don't think Fiendsmith is necessarily the problem. It is just the enabler, right? The problems are that right there, the Azamina cards, pretty much every single one of them. I don't think there's one of them that is interesting at all. I guess, like, the fusion spell is kind of cool. The way that, like, they fusion summon, it's a little bit more interesting, but, yeah, that's kind of it. It's the only card that I find remotely interesting. All of the rest of the Azamina cards basically say, hey, stop playing the game in one way or another, and is incredibly easy to utilize and to summon, which makes it very, very boring. The other thing is something you will see in just a few seconds here, but, yeah, Beatrice. Beatrice is just obscenely stupid. The fact that that is available to us alongside the Fiendsmith engine with Lacrima, the fusion monster, is just silly and, like, not very fun. Like, that's not act like it is fun. Like, no, it's not. It sucks. The other notable inclusions to this problematic engine metagame are Apollosa. Hey, it'd be fun if you wanted to play the game. Too bad I literally have a negate for every single one of your monsters that you currently have in hand. Therefore, meaning you just can't. Nice try. Baron. Nice board breaker. Be a shame if I stopped it from resolving. Yeah. Those two also exist, for some reason, in this game. So, you pair all of those terrible, no good, non-playable cards, where basically, hey, these cards are on the field, therefore you just don't play the game, alongside what you've probably noticed is happening in the background, a very, very long combo that pretty much everyone has to sit through, or, like, hand trap them to death so that they never actually play the game. Yeah, that seems like fun. Don't you agree? Surely it's a good idea to have a metagame full of big wombo combos that take 20 minutes to accomplish, paired with basically unbreakable boards. And also hand traps that basically invalidate half of the game. My opponent has 4 cards in hand, by the way. They have 4 cards in the hand. Also, they misplay here. They misplay really poorly. And it, like, could genuinely cause them to lose this game. But, like, all I'm doing is setting 5. I'm basically playing stun. I'm not actually playing stun. It's as close to control as Yu-Gi-Oh! Gets. Control, like, basically doesn't exist. But my opponent, of course, just gets to do whatever they want, and every deck has, like, 9,000 outs to back row, because Konami really doesn't like trap cards resolving, even though they made them. I don't know. Konami does things. But this is the problem, right? Cool, my opponent got to play the game for a very long amount of time. Right? They continually played, and they continually played, and they've played 99% of the game. I set 5 cards, and I passed the turn. Now, I'm specifically playing a deck that is not designed to play a bunch of game until the opponent's next turn. So, of course, they're going to play more. That's fine. The problem is, what if I wasn't playing this deck? What if I was playing a deck of similar nature? I now have to sit here, watch my opponent play the game for 30 or so minutes, and I play 2 of those. Maybe 2 of them. Probably not. Probably less than that. Or I have to, again, prevent them from playing the game via a myriad of hand traps. Well, that's not very fun, now is it? So, yeah, sure, I have, like, options. I can kind of play the game. But, like, is this gonna matter? Sure, I survive a turn, but I can't really do anything. So, yeah. And, you know, they have 7 cards in hand. So they could just continually do stuff. They could just put more guys onto the field. And, like, every deck does this. It's not unique to Snake Eye, or, in this case, White Forest. It's not unique to Azamina. Every deck ends up in this fashion, right? And this is where I find the biggest issue with this game, genuinely, is that I'm just not allowed to play it. Unless I am going first and doing a big combo that prevents my opponent from playing the game. Which means that I'm playing the game either. I'm just playing solitaire. Like, literally. Normally, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or people who complain about Yu-Gi-Oh! And say that Yu-Gi-Oh's not for me, are talking about stuff like this, where you just, like, do this big combo and prevent the opponent from ever really doing anything. Right? And that's fair. That's valid. Because, genuinely, what am I supposed to do in this situation? What was I to do? My opponent got to play the game. They continually played, and they played, and they played, and they played. It was a single-player game at that point. I never did anything. There was no back and forth. There was no dynamic choices. And it's not like playing a whole bunch of hand traps changes the math on that. It's still the same thing. Oh, I have to stop that. And then I have to stop that. And then I have to stop that. If I don't, if they have enough to push through that, they end on the same thing. And then I lose the game, and they do the big cutscene, and I lose. Can't do anything. Game over. Right? But if I do stop them, great, now they watch me. Or they stop me through the hand traps. So maybe there's a smidgen of gameplay. Oh, that's great. But we've had metas. We have a meta currently in the TCG and the OCG that is at least more interesting. Ryzeal, at the very least, is a mid-range deck. It does something different. Alright, so I'm going to showcase the Ryzeal combo real quick, and the reason that I want to do this is because it basically does the exact same thing, or not do the exact same thing, sorry. It does play differently, but it is like significantly faster, and that's more or less what I want to showcase, is like, hey, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has the ability to still make like a very good deck, and a very playable deck, even with the Fiendsmith cards in particular, which we still have access to, but just, you know, alongside some of the other stuff, right, with, like, Ryzeal. And this combo is pretty simple. It's not really all that interesting. Interesting is not the right term. It's not all that, like, problematic. It's fine, right? So, you know, we make Desiree, and then we go Bonfire. Great. And this is like all that we're doing, right? It's very simple. We go normal summon, we activate the effect, we special summon the sword, we go sword effect, we grab Ext, then we go like this, and we make duo drive. And this is currently what is happening in the meta. Sure, it's long, right? It's not like a simple combo, but it's not that bad, right? Detach 2, add you, let's go like this, and special summon this, and then we activate this. And this is like, again, the optimized full combo, right? This is pretty much everything. Did not mean to click that, it's fine. And then we do this, and we go 1, 2, 3, and put them over here, because it's funny. And then we activate the detonator, we don't chain a thing, and bada bing, bada boom, I'm done. That's it. That's the combo. We did it all. How long did that take? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Whoa, crazy. Now, to be fair, I was playing pretty quickly. But you compare that to what happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and it's like night and day. This is like the most that combos should be for a large portion of the metagame. Sure, you can have combos like Malice and stuff like that that tend to do more and kind of need to do more, but this was the higher end of the combo. This was the larger portion of the combo. More or less what generally happens if you draw very ideal. If you draw, you know, both halves of the engine and you don't get interrupted and you get to pop off all the way, right? But oftentimes you're also just ending on detonator paths. Now, I'm not saying that every deck needs to be that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, in comparison, experiencing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel right now, as opposed to what just happened, is night and day. I played the game for 2 minutes. Maybe a little bit more. We'll say 3. Because maybe my opponent hand traps me or something like that, or I have to actually think about my combo. So we'll say 3 minutes. Awesome. Now my opponent has ample opportunities available to them to play the game. They get to do as much as they want, right? So that is more so what I am so frustrated about, is that the games that do end up being played, quote unquote, is 90% of the time just one combo. Like, that is legitimately like more than half of the actual game time, which becomes really boring. It becomes really boring. As opposed to this, which is very simple, it's very easy, you can just, you know, bada bing, bada boom, let's go to battle, let's walk into this guy. Obviously I could do more, but like, you get the point, right? You get the idea, you get the design. Fantastic. And yeah, so overall, I'm just not having fun with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. It is one of the worst formats I think I've ever experienced. In fact, I would dare say it is the worst format I have ever experienced and ever had the displeasure of being a part of. I don't think anything compares. I think it is just objectively the worst, and I'm going to take more time off. I'm going to play it less, right? It's not going away, but expect to see other games, other card games, and the like. Anyway, that's it. I'm sick and tired of this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.